Alrighty. The key to that song is, can you tell me who originally sang that song? Not very difficult to do since I gave the title and I tweeted it to you if you watch it. Watching your guys' videos, Federalism 1, 2, 3, my goodness gracious, was I boring and apparently very, very tired. I was watching Federalism 2, and this is the notes it was going over, so I'm going to replace Federalism 2 with this one. I was talking about cooperative federalism, and so I'm going to start there. I ended the Federalism 1 with hurrying through what this right here was, and these are my notes again, dual federalism, and now we have what's called cooperative, or aka marble cake federalism. So I wanted to touch on that, clarify some of those things with you guys real quick. Realize, underline that, and right next to it, I would underline this, and over here somewhere, right, this is what America has. We have what's called cooperative federalism or marble cake federalism. And this is where state and national governments, they share power together. So that's really what we are, what we have. I know we just did the article, very exciting article about the devil and devolution. That's giving power back to state rights and how Nixon started that, Reagan had that, and now kind of how we've gone back to that now at times. All that falls underneath the 10th Amendment. But we'll get to that in a minute. So looking at marble cake federalism, and what this does and what it is and why is it important to us. The way you got to look at it is this is the mingling of responsibilities between the state and national government. Okay? Now we share powers of policy assignments as in a marble cake. Suggests that power of national government should be interpreted broadly. Again, this is, think of it, like I said, with the No Child Left Behind, schools have to meet in certain criteria, otherwise they lose what's called federal funding of that. If they don't meet those things, again, we lose federal funding for education. So let me give you an example about No Child Left Behind Act 2002. In order to receive federal funds for education, states must, 1, adopt subject matter standards. We have those. Test all students in grade 3 to 8 on those standards. You guys went through that a long time ago. We got to identify low-performing schools based upon this testing, and if you're low-performing over a certain amount of time, then the state and the state governments take you over. Yay! And again, you got to. So these things are all there in place. And if those things are in place, then you would lose some of the funding there. So that's an example of cooperative federalism. Is that the No Child Left Behind in 2002. Another one I said, the 1956 Highway Act. Again, the states and the national government working together. The states providing funding for the national government is an example of that. One thing I want you to look at, when it kind of involves fiscal federalism, we'll get to that tomorrow, if not on Tuesday, is cooperative federalism involves shared costs of items. Now, this can be a positive, and it also can be a negative, because the federal government can use things to their advantage and do things in order to get their way. So like you have to follow federal guidelines. So you have shared costs, number 1. Number 2 would be follow federal guidelines. An example of that would be the Federal Aid Highway Act, I want to say 1984. And what this did is the federal government wanted to raise the drinking age all over the United States from 18 to 21. But if you remember, I tweeted you guys this photo right here. And in here, it says, if you look at the second paragraph, I know it's not great looking at the photo, but states are responsible for most public policies dealing with social, family, and moral issues. The Constitution does not give the national government the power to pass laws that directly regulate drinking age, marriage, and divorce, or speed limits. These policy prerogatives belong to the states. And then it says they become national issues, however, when the aggravated or angry groups take these causes to Congress for federal. Like an example they give you here is MAD, and MAD wanted the drinking age to be raised from 18 to 21. And so what happened was that the Federal Aid Highway Act in 1984, they put with it the National Minimum Drinking Age Act, and they wanted drinking age to be 21. And so what the federal government said is, we will hold some of your funds back, won't give you the whole thing, unless you, I think there were 7 states, unless the other 7 states raised their drinking age to 21. Well, in order to get all your money, you did what? You raised your drinking age to 21. So the federal government used its fiscal federalism, we'll look at some of those later, but they used that power to get what it wanted and to make it a national thing, even though the states have the right to dictate what really is the drinking age. Because, again, with the 10th Amendment. But the federal government, under these guidelines of cooperative or morbid cake federalism, used that to their advantage. And then I also put the third thing is shared administrations. The U.S. Department of Labor gives money to states for job training. But states have considerable latitude on how to spend that money within the job training. Some states might be a little bit more flexible. Other states might be a little bit stricter on how they spend that money. So that's cooperative federalism, and that's kind of for us in America what we use and how we use it now. Looking at new federalism, this is the devolution. This is giving power back to the states. And I think that third video talks about that. So I just really wanted to touch on the cooperative marble cake federalism and give you a better example. I said 1956 they did that. They did not change the drinking age until the mid-1980s. And so, but new federalism, if you look at right here about the revolution, we just in this one article talked about, making speed limits and stuff. Well, that's what happened is they restricted the speed limits from every state having 55. They said some states can do their own. You don't believe me? Drive down Highway 5 going to LA or going up to Redding. The speed limit is 70. Some parts during 5 going to LA is 75. Again, because it's just a straight, boring shot, and they figure people can drive a little faster because they're not going through major towns and cities and this, that, and the other. So I'll go over new federalism in the next video. Alrighty, crazies. I will leave you again with the song of the day, "Better Things." Better things await tomorrow. Made my day hearing this. Alrighty. Right, and I know very best of course it's true.